Welcome to the Paranormal Sideshow. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And we're waiting for the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
We are.
It is getting dangerously, terribly close.
He brings treats.
Oh, he does. He brings all kinds of tricks, too. If that video I watched earlier is any indication, there can be tricks such as your stagecoach or whatever being put on the roof. What was that?
Yes, that was a trick a long time ago. During Halloween, they would put coaches on barn roofs.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, now you know. We're doing these little video things, and I hope you guys like it. So we're also doing other things. Other than these little short videos we're doing that we're putting up that show crazy stuff by Halloween and murderers and all this kind of stuff. We're also doing, well, you're watching this right now. Yeah. Hi. How you guys doing? All right. So obviously something's going on. All right. You sniffed something rotten in Denmark. And well, you would be right. And it's not the cheese. See, there's a lot of cheese to it. But we are embarking on a couple of new little missions here, and this is one of them. So that's all the people need to know, what Baron von Raschke would say. So that's what I'll say. A lot of cool things going on, obviously, being the Halloweeny season. And Lord, we love Halloweeny. I also launched the new Facebook group. So Paranormal Sideshow is the destination page. So, of course, facebook.com/Paranormal Sideshow. But there's the group.
There is.
And the group has all kinds of memeage and all kinds of fun and all kinds of little topics. And, like how old were you the first time a ghost snapped your brassiere? I mean, that kind of stuff.
I think you were 12.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming because you're a terrible person. You're just you need help.
I do need help.
You do need help. So anyway, some other stuff going on with that that's really cool is the fact that on the Patreon, for the patrons and their patronage, and like all that.
I did. That's saying patron a lot of times.
The big P's?
Yes.
So for the big P's, I want to give you guys a lot more extra. I was trying to do some behind the scenes stuff of us making those little videos, but I want to give you a lot extra. So one thing you're going to get is with the new concept of what we're doing here, which you're watching this, or maybe you're listening to this, because you can still do both.
Right.
If you're listening to this right now, you might want to go to YouTube and look up Paranormal Sideshow.
That's youtube.com/Paranormal Sideshow.
It is. And you might want to look somewhere else too, but we'll tell you more about that later. So that one's going to be more interesting. We'll just see how that goes. But there is a reason for the season. Isn't that right, Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
It is. All right. So the patrons are going to get a little extra. So everybody gets the first part or the meat and potatoes of the show. And then if you're a patron, you're going to get little nougats, little special nougats of extraness. So just know that is coming, and it will be in video form, maybe not as beautifully produced as the rest of it, but
we'll be in our pajamas.
it will be in the video form. Basically, the rest of the story. Okay. Right. So that's what you guys will get. On audio, you guys are going to get the whole shebang. Oh. So, it's if you want to see the rest of the video, you want to see the rest of what's going on, you got to become a patron.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to get the version hour version, however you want to put it, the 44-minute version, and that's what you'll get. But other than that, if you got this, you understand this,
I'm following.
You're a new patron right now,
right?
You can listen to the whole thing on audio,
right?
But if you're a patron, you get the extra video. Yeah. So if you didn't need more of us, then
and the backstage stuff,
which there'll be a lot more of that because somebody's going bananas. Trying to put these together. A lot of editing. She's become an editor-in-chief. So, don't you think?
I think so, yeah.
You've done a pretty good job.
It's all right. I like it.
Well, you can dance to it. It's got a nice beat. Something like that. All right, so you know what this is?
What is that?
That's special effects.
Oh.
Do you like that?
I liked it.
It was a lot better before they could see me. Now it's just kind of,
Less anticlimactic now.
This is John's list.
Yes. It's an actual list.
John puts a lot. It's always an actual list. John puts a lot of work into this. John also speaks about himself in the third person sometimes. Don't look at the list.
Sorry.
Are you crazy?
It's not usually so close.
You can't look at the list. If you look at the list, you don't have reactions.
I won't look at the list. I'm sorry. I'll look over here.
Well, you don't have to look over there. There's nothing good over there.
I just won't look down.
All right. Keep my eye on you.
Okay.
You and your phony baloney job. So, listen. 'Tis the season. And with Halloween coming, with October here, with There's Never a Day Like a Day in October, all the good stuff. Hammer Horror, Pumpkin Spice, Black Kitties, Black Kitty costumes.
Oh, I bought him a bat costume. It's so cute. He hates it.
It's terrible. It's the reason the cat kills us in our sleep.
No, it's just it's not like I have to put a shirt on him or something. You just Velcro the bat wings around his body. It's fine.
He's going to kill us. He is. But until that happens, she said he's a cat and he's a bat. He's a bat cat.
Mm-hmm. So cute.
13 signs. I did the number 13 because...
I caught that.
Okay.
Because it's Halloween.
It is.
13.
13.
Mm-hmm. All the spooky things.
It's dyslexic Halloween.
Okay.
October 13th. You can always find the special kids walking down the street.
Trick or treat. Treat or tricking?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be mean about it. They had to be smart as well to get the joke. So they kind of like, trick or treat. No, sorry, Jimmy. Damn, this is weird. So awkward. Here you go, buddy. Yeah. Somebody calls mom. Anyway, that's not really nice. It's really not. We were all in that class. Like my whole family. They just knew the teacher, like some classes, it's like, oh, hey, hi, little John. Yeah, I taught CP English to your aunt and your cousin and your, not me. They'd be like, I was in the class with the other kids wearing rubber pants and stuff, and like banging their head into the wall and everything. They'd be like, I had your uncle and your aunt, and I even had your mom. Like, no, really. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, actually. And you guys think I'm telling a joke. All right, 13 signs you may be haunted.
Ooh. This will be a good list.
Once you say what I just said, when you say 13 signs you may be haunted.
13 signs you may be haunted.
Tish, when you speak French like that, it's the...
I don't know how to speak French.
Just say oui.
Oui.
All right. Enough gomezing around.
Okay.
So here we go with this incredible list. This is an incredible list. You don't understand how good I mean, this is 20 some years of experience talking. That don't come easy.
We have all the signs.
That don't come easy.
I bet we have all the signs. Do we have all the signs? We'll see.
We've had the signs. Seriously. Like we're like Ace of Base.
No, I see.
I saw the sign. Opened up my heart. I saw the sign. Never gonna possess your soul. Okay, sorry. Number 13. You ready for this?
I am.
Number 13. You gonna be like Ed McMahon for me?
Number 13.
There you go. Cold spots.
Oh.
If you're like Stacey, you may think you live in Addams Family Mansion if you're going on cold spots. But not all of us are sensitive-skinned women. Well, probably most of us, actually, that are watching this right now, and I apologize for that. But from looking at our demographics, it's kind of, it sways that way. Well, no, what was it, like 60-40?
I think that's fair.
Somewhere around there.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, who's counting? So basically, this is all jokes aside. This is a real phenomenon, the cold spots, and everybody's seen them on the paranormal shows. Like, oh, hey, Jimmy, there's a cold spot. There's a cold. Jimmy, get the stuff. There's a cold spot. All right, stop. Just wanted to do that. So the reason that's happening, the reason he's getting the equipment is to validate the cold spot. If it's just a cold spot, it could be a drafty house, huh? It could be an open window. You never know. If you don't know, ask Steve Gonzalez. He'll tell you right off the bat. It's a car coming down the street. Headlamps went off the mirror. Turned that fan on using some solar power. Made the cat blow some wind. Scared the cat.
Cold spot.
Cold spot. No ghost here.
That's right.
So what happens, theoretically, is ghosts are, like energy. Mm-hmm. So in order to manifest, they're going to have to take the energy out of the air. What happens when you take the energy out of the air, Stacey?
Cold spots.
Right. Because the energy heats the air. So a little bit of cold spot activity, but at the same time, you should be able to use your gimmick and your paranormal equipment. And if either one
Our
of them...
investigations are very awkward.
If either one of them changes, you can verify it's a cold spot. Mm-hmm. Well, if the EMF goes up...
Right,
you know. Oh, it's a little shrinkage joke. So, number 12. Misplaced items.
Oh, we get this one all the time. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. You ever swear that you've left your keys on the table only to find them on the bed?
Yep.
Yeah, so is she. Mm-hmm. Ever know that you left the chapstick beside the bed and you find it, tied to the cat? So sweet. So, misplaced items is one that goes back as long as spirit sightings goes back. It's another sign from loved ones that they're here. A lot of these in a home will always go back to loved ones. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it even goes to, and one we'll talk about in a little bit, goes back to, spirits that may be occupying the home you're coming in already. And it's not a bad thing. It's not, third layer of hell, cousin of Beelzebub, nothing like that. It's literally just, it is what it is, man. It's just a spirit. It's somebody who's living there. And, this one, a lot of times it is a loved one that may have recently passed. And this is just a way they're kind of like letting you know that they're around, hoping that you're going to pick up on it. I posted a meme. We were talking about the group on Facebook. I posted a meme probably last week about my spirit guides all celebrating after several lifetimes of trying to give me a message and finally picking up on it.
Finally get it.
It was like the thing of NASA when they're all hugging and stuff, when a rocket lands or something like that. So
the missing item thing is really creepy though because I look for things hardcore, like I don't stop looking when I know I can't. Like, I know it was there and it's not there. I tear my house apart. And then all of a sudden it's just laying in plain sight. And both of us started looking for things. Like, if we can't find something, we're like, you look, I looked, you look, make sure, and then we'll still find it somewhere we both looked.
So, there's a lot to unpack there. Mm-hmm. First part, she's OCD in a crazy, weird way. It's an undiagnosed they don't have a name for it yet. So, it's like a looking problem. And if she starts looking for something, oh my God, was she open the same drawer 5,000 times? You have to pull her out of the vortex because sometimes I'll tell the kids when we watch the television and I'll be like, hey, she's doing it. And they'll all sit there quietly and watch as she comes through. Cabinets. And she'll be mumbling to herself the whole time, talking in tongues, I'm sure, but we can't hear it. It's like
retracing my steps.
And every now and then you get fucking something like, something. We're pretty sure it's curse words, even though she doesn't do that much. But yeah, that goes on. It'll go on forever unless we stop the insanity. But second part to that, totally right. So we have to verify each other. Because it's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we really literally have nutty ones.
Yes.
Where it'll be laying in the center of the bed.
Oh, yeah. Our spirits have real senses of humor. Like, It'll be like right in the middle of the bathroom counter in front of the mirror.
But it's always when we need to leave. That's the not funny part about it.
Right.
Is, oh, hey, we're going to be late to that thing. Where's the keys? Well, they were laying right here. An hour and a half later.
They're laying right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Right there. All right. So we're down. Number 11, feeling of being watched.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Get
So
this one.
Ever lay down, read a book, or more modern times, ever lay back to play a game on your phone? And it's in a common room, a room you're used to or whatever, but this time, for whatever reason, you got an awkward feeling. Almost like you want the family to be around you, which is really weird. Or you just don't feel right. And it's like you're being watched. That same feeling of being watched. That's a telltale sign, Edgar Allan, that you may be experiencing a haunting.
Right.
Goose pimples.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, chill bumps, whatever you want to call them, right?
A little shiver up your spine
Right.
kind of thing.
Exactly. It can be a lot of normal things, but just like Stacey was talking about with misplaced items and being, sensitive to it happening and everything, you got to be hypersensitive and hyper aware to all of this happening. And once it happens to you, once you're into paranormal, and all you paranormal fans will know, anybody who's been on a ghost hunt, your life changes, paradigm changes. All of a sudden, you notice the weird coincidences, and they're all around. You can choose to ignore them, and they're still going to happen. They're just going to seem like nuisance, instead of actual scientific activity. Or you can study them and stop and look around, collaborate and listen when Ice is back with a brand new invention. Anyway, it's pretty cool, but that one is one that I call it getting lit up or charged.
Right.
Because you'll hear me say it a lot. If you guys have ever watched one of our documentaries or something,
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh man, I'm charged. Well, I'm lit up. And it is. I mean, I got some pretty long hairs on my arm here. And they go right up in the air. Pretty cool stuff. You get them too, don't you?
I do, especially when you get them and I'm sitting close to you. And all of a sudden it'll be like,
yeah,
I'll just get it.
Well, the signs of a haunted for a person, I know all yours. Some of those would be on here, and then others. So kind of keeping in this, number 9 we would be right now. 9. I didn't actually put numbers on here. Pretty sure it's 9, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Thanks, Stacey.
You're welcome.
How helpful she is. So number 9, pennies from heaven.
Oh, yes.
You can call them what you want. That's what I call them. The pennies from heaven, and a reason for this, right? Again, this is a recently deceased loved one. This is someone saying, hey, how are you doing? Brother, sister, mom, dad, something like that, aunt, and it's the theory to this is that copper is easier for a spirit to manipulate. So that's an old theory, and I don't even think pennies are made of copper anymore. No. So you're going to be finding old pennies. But that was the prevailing theory for years and years and years. Now, I've seen a lot of wheat pennies this happen to, and I don't think wheat pennies fall in. Or is that copper with the wheat pennies?
I'm not sure about those.
Honestly, I have to look it up. Not an expert on the treasury there.
Right.
But nonetheless, it's usually pennies. Rarely is it silver. It's just rare for it to be the silver stuff. But I've seen it happen. Here's the deal. It has happened to loved ones. And there's no explanation.
Right. You just...
People that wouldn't make it up. Set the towel down. They get out of the shower. Pennies on it. Not once, not twice, not thrice. We're talking Jim Jam, Jerry Rice. It happened quite often. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And
that one's never happened to me personally.
Right.
But I do know people that it's happened to. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it has to happen to you.
Right.
I think that you're so you're so alive and aware of everything that's happening.
Right. I mean, we're not the kind of people that need to be told that our family members are around,
No, it's because I'm doing these in a level of scale for me.
Right.
So I think you're more cold spot. I think you're more along the line of, oh, hey. Auntie, are you here?
Yes.
You know, and I think that's it has to get a little bit more hardcore the further you go.
Right.
But still yet, hey man, if that's something happening every day and you're out there listening for the first time and you're like, oh God, I thought that was Junior. And Junior's been denying it the whole time. You owe Junior an apology, and you may want to try talking to, Pappy.
That's right.
Seriously. And if you don't have a Pappy, well, sorry, dude. It's probably a demon. So that's a joke. It's most definitely a demon. So, number 8, footsteps.
Definitely get the footsteps.
So we've had this. Mm-hmm. And we've had this in a nasty, horrible way. And it wasn't even the Black House. In Charlotte, we're living in Charlotte, greater Charlotte area. Had a house we were renting. We didn't know anything about this house. Nothing. We didn't have, it was, there was internet.
Right.
It just wasn't easy to look up histories on things at the time.
Right.
Now I'm sure you could get like the full history and everybody's died in it and everything else.
Right.
Somebody died in it, or it was on some kind of Native American,
Something was going on.
Oh, dude.
It was awful.
This place was not haunted by one spirit. It was haunted by a bunch of noisy spirits. Poltergeist. Mm-hmm. We had so much activity in this place. Now, could it be the same things that followed us and got even more hardcore? Absolutely. Could it be the ones that were with us at first, shadowy people? Yeah. Could have been the same people the whole time. We believe people get haunted too. Mm-hmm. But awful weird that we didn't have the same activity happen before or after.
That house, the only place that we would have heard the footsteps were the kitchen and dining room. Like everywhere else was carpeted. Mm-hmm. So these spirits just walked around the kitchen and dining room just all night long with the footsteps. You could hear it constantly.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying. It was one of the few times I can remember ever hearing you.
It just didn't feel very nice.
Well, I don't think a family member would do that.
No.
Because you were scared.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Right. And normally something like that wouldn't scare me. But for some reason, I just felt very nervous. Maybe nervous is the right word.
Yeah, well, we were young, vulnerable by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, you had nobody out. It's terrifying. Mm-hmm. So I think all that on top of it probably didn't help the activity any.
Right.
So there's a lot of fear. We had money problems. Just everything you can imagine.
Right. All the fuel.
Yeah. And we drank a lot. So.
Well,
I think the ghost helped that.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a reason for that.
But it was so, just like everything we've had, it was so real. It was just so mind-blowing. Scary. Mm-hmm. Scary. Damn. There was a basement to this place we never went in.
No.
Just because of all this. We never went in it. Can you imagine renting a place and never going and checking out the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how scary this place
Hard
was.
pass on that.
Yeah. Number 7, Knox.
Ah, yes. The famous Knox.
Yeah.
Now, does this include Pops or just Knox?
No, this is Knox. This isn't like your Paranormal Pops in and out and stuff. Mm-hmm. Nice to try, though. So the Knox I'm talking about, this is a little bit more hardcore. You've got your easy stuff, your stuff you're going to hear in the middle of the night, which is still scary poltergeist type stuff.
Right.
The rapping of 3 and all this, but I'm talking more about some of the stuff that happened when we were in our Black House era. Mm-hmm. That's when it was the most terrifying to me. And that was when you're almost asleep. You're not asleep yet. And then you hear the big knock on the door. It's like the big 3 knocks. Mm-hmm. And it happened to me so many times. Listen, it didn't happen like hundreds of times or even dozens of times, but probably 7 or 8 times in a small period. Mm-hmm. It's scary. Very scary. And, so a lot of times it was accompanied by some pretty hardcore activity. So just not cool. And, but there's other knocks. Everybody knows knocks happen. Mm-hmm. The best way to do that and verify that is also if you have a recorder or something, I would start recording around that time and just try to communicate to the spirit, because at that point, the spirit's really pushing in and trying to invade your sanity, your time. You need to communicate with them. and see what's going on. Because more than likely, they're wanting to tell you something.
That's right. I was just trying to get your attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number 6, another favorite of ours, shadows.
Ah, yes.
Shadow people.
Favorites.
Corner of your eye. Little Doctor Who.
Yep.
And there's a variety of shadow people, right? We could do a whole thing just on shadow people. You know, we have our own theories on shadow realm. Pretty sure it's not anything. There are shadow people. There's shadows that are ghosts, spirits, humans. Got that, right? We also feel, Stacey and I feel, and we'll deep dive this at another time, but there is a whole variety of beings that are not connected to humans that are shadow. Now that's big pill to swallow for someone that's just jumping into the paranormal.
Right.
But that comes after years and years. You got to understand, you know, it's not because we just like, oh, what year are we going to say we started this? We started investigating the paranormal in 1997 because of what happened to us. But investigating it wasn't easy to investigate it. A lot of that was grave stomping. A lot of that was friends' houses. A lot of that was an old school tape recorder and a big ass horrible flashlight that you could kill wolves with. You know, not a whole lot to it. A lot of that was Stacey writing down experiences. That's what she did, just to try to make sense of it. A lot of that was dream interpretation. A lot of that was us reading with like-minded people, you know, just things that was different at the time. It wasn't easy to do investigations.
No.
And investigations took, 8 to 10 weeks instead of 8 to 10 hours?
Yep.
So just different times. But out of that, this is one of those things that we've just developed. But, you know, our whole dance started with a shadow person. And it was in our house. So when you get up to shadow people, yeah, you might have a haunting. But it's not always that. It could be subtle. And it could be a visitor. It could be a traveler, an astral critter. You know, just a little person. However you want to call them.
Right.
There is such a thing.
Right. I think that's probably a lot more common. The whole you thought you something. You thought you saw something.
You thought you something.
Yeah, you thought you something out of the corner of your eye. You thought you saw something out of the corner of your eye, and you'll turn, and there won't be anybody there. And you get that a lot, and especially paranormal investigators. And if you're new to that, you'll start noticing it after you go to haunted locations and you start stirring up the activity and start asking for the activity. Then, you know, when you get home, usually for a few days, couple weeks, you know, you could very possibly start seeing that around your house.
Absolutely. And a lot of times,
to us a lot.
We never were big on protection. And, you know, so, and the reason was a good reason. It wasn't because we were praying to the almighty Satan. It was because we didn't want to hurt the ghost. As weird as that sounds, right? That sounds dumb. But we don't hurt animals. We don't want to hurt people. We don't do a lot of stories on freaking serial killers because we don't like the thought of it. So we really didn't want an innocent spirit to be condemned or something because we were trying to clean the space. So that was why that started originally. But we learned how to find a happy medium. And that's me. We learned how to talk to the spirit somewhat and sort of get some protection. But yes, astral critters, little people, depending on what part of the world you're living in, you can have them for a couple of weeks. You can usually make a deal. You can ask them to leave. It normally works. But if you've ever had something go by your feet and you think it's a cat, rat, whatever, right? A lot of times if you don't have a cat or the cat's been dead, which was the case with us for, you know, at first, like, well, we didn't have the cat any longer on that one. Right. And we both were seeing Mulder. And it was like, wait a second. And it happened to us both in the kitchen one night. Yeah. And she was like, I honestly, I forget which one was said it to the other one, but did you see that?
Yeah. I think we both looked at the same time, and then we noticed that each other looked at the same time. Yeah. And then we were like, I've been seeing that. And you were like, yeah, I've been seeing that too. Yeah. And I was like, I just kept thinking it was the cat, but we don't have the cat anymore. Right. So obviously it's not the cat.
Same thing had been happening to me. And because you desensitize yourself to the little ramblings of a cat, like we got Spooky running around here. Oh, you're getting goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Wow. See, and I'm not getting it. So right there. We've drawn it in. And a lot of times when we do this show, we draw them in. Okay, I've got it. Huge cold spot on my feet.
See? Somebody's coming to see what we're doing.
Going around my feet like an animal.
Mm-hmm. Could be what it is. We were talking about the kitty.
Yeah. Okay, my feet. I know this is kind of awkward, but if you can feel right here.
Oh, those are cold.
Yeah.
Cold feet.
Yeah. Cold feet. Something I don't normally have. So, yeah. Pretty cool. Thanks for helping give us visual here.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. That's shadow people, little people, all that good stuff. So we're going to go right down to the next one here for strange animal behavior, which is kind of funny that we feed right into this one.
Right.
And this is like it sounds, right? Everybody's seen the cat looking at the wall, not making any sense what's happening, or the dog or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, Sparky, that's enough. And Sparky's kind of like, brr, brr,
Right.
and it's terrifying. It really is weird at the least.
It is.
And it gets you.
And see, we have another cat now, Spooky, our little Spookykins. He's not little, he's a big cat. But he'll be just laying in the middle of the bed, minding his own business, little thing. And all of a sudden, he'll jump and look behind him like somebody pulled his tail.
Yeah.
Like just out of nowhere. And there won't be anybody near him. And we'll be like, Spooky, don't do that.
Yeah, and he gets a dumb look on his face and looks all around sometimes like he's following a balloon or something. He does that. And so, other than that, he's normally pretty chill. But we know what's happening when it happens. Number 4, believe your children. So when little Ruthie starts telling you about her imaginary friend, Sarah, don't pass that off. Don't be the movie and go, oh, Ruthie, go back to your room. It's not real. I swear, these kids these days, you just all these imaginary. Did you have imaginary friends, Margaret?
Of course.
Yeah. So what's happening is little Sarah was burned alive in the closet. And it's probably sitting there with
That's horrific.
like half a face, smelling like charcoal and regret, talking to your little Ruthie, asking, why do you have the name Little Ruthie? Isn't that kind of an old name? Shouldn't we kind of like change names here? Or whatever she's telling her, rad rum.
Right.
So just listen to your kids. I'm begging you. If you want to give me a boon, if you want to give me something good, you don't owe me anything. Just listen to your kids when they're telling you this.
Right.
You can ignore the cat. But when the kid comes to you and says they got an imaginary friend or they seen, now obviously you're going to look if they say, there's a big man in the corner of the room.
Right.
Or there's a monster under my bed. That's when me and the kid both are never going back in the room. With my kids. They tell me there's a monster anywhere. Nope. It's all good. I'm good.
We'll just seal that one off.
Yeah, man, kids are so creepy anyway. It happens to us now. Not much, but it does happen.
They just say creepy stuff.
We get some stories. And number 3, something you'll hear on this if you listen close, because it happens every time. Whispers.
Yep.
And you have to ask yourself, did I just hear that? I'm not talking about the blatant, like, get out, the big disembodied stuff. No, that's different.
Right.
That's you may be possessed. This is you may be haunted. Now, sometimes you'll hear the Stacey.
Oh yeah, I get my name a lot.
Yeah, and you get Mama.
I do get Mama quite a bit. Like I'll go looking for which kid hollered for me.
Yeah,
and they'll be like, none of us.
Yeah,
hollered for you.
Yeah, and that's I've heard it because a lot of times there's times in the past I'm like, hey, do you need to go? Oh. They're teenagers,
right?
No, it's just really weird, man. So that's a big one. Staying on the same thing, number 2. Now this is when we're getting really intense. Bad dreams.
Oh, yes.
If it's not a normal thing, and I'm not talking about the one bad dream. We're talking about all of a sudden you start having these very vivid, lucid-like dreams. And, you wake up and you're screwed up, man. You got to go make some coffee and sit and think about things and, look at something on your phone, get your mind off of it kind of dreams. Mm-hmm. And that's just a personal thing, what I call them.
Yes.
Instead of bad dreams or whatever, I like calling them, I had to get my mind off it dream. It's what I tell myself because it's horrifying sometimes. And I don't like talking about them if they're real bad.
Right.
So I just try to take care of that stuff and watch a little video.
I don't get a lot of like really bad dreams, but I do have these weird dreams, and I'll know that it was not from me when it's like in my dream, I'm in it, but I'm not me in my dream. And I get those not terribly often, but every so often I'll wake up and I'll be like, I had this dream and I was in it, but I wasn't me. Because obviously it wasn't my life. The situation was completely different. Like maybe I lived somewhere else or I was, older or younger or something. But I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange.
So you're seeing it like third person or you're acting as somebody else?
I'm acting as somebody else. Like I'm in the dream.
That's got to be a past life.
I'm in the dream.
Is it current days?
It's current days. Like I had one once and in the dream I was this girl and I was trying to get home. Now, in the dream, when I thought about getting home, I thought about my parents and I thought about, my family, but I was in like Texas and I needed to get home and I didn't look like me. That's the biggest thing. Like I had blonde hair and it was like this very specific look. And after I had the dream, I believe I looked it up and there was some sort of situation in that area that I had the dream about a blonde girl, and it was very strange.
Wow.
It's very strange. That's only happened to me like 3 or 4 times.
That's really cool, though. I mean, that's showing your abilities.
It can happen, though.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's, pay attention. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. The dreams, whispers, anything like that, a lot of times they correspond. Maybe your third eye's opening. Maybe somebody's giving you a message, or maybe you're haunted. Mm-hmm. So as long as you write these things down, you use your notepad on your phone. It's fine. How easy is that? Mm-hmm. Open it up. Just put it in there. Don't even put it in the same folder. Just go back and find it.
I suggested that John use his voice recorder to record his dreams. Sometimes when he's too tired to write them down, that doesn't work. You can't understand a thing he's saying. He's too tired.
Then you're picking up EVPs at the same time. It just opens up a whole can of worms.
Yep.
All right. So, and this is my number one.
Okay.
So, odd relationship changes. Things you might think when, signs that could tell you that you're haunted. And the last thing you're going to think about is that you're haunted.
Right.
Because you're wanting to blame your spouse. You're wanting to blame something else, or they're wanting to blame it on something else. You're not thinking this out. You're not thinking, how stupid is this fight we're having? Mm-hmm. We're fighting about whether to use wire hangers or plastic hangers to beat the kids. Mm-hmm. How dumb is that? We know we use wire hangers. It's always something silly. It's something that doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And you got to be able to pull yourself out of that.
Right.
And stop it. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, if because you're both bullheaded, you just keep going, you got to be able to pull back as a couple and go, wait a second, that's not us. That's not, whatever's happening shouldn't be happening. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel this anger that I'm displaying. Just be honest. And people have this problem of not pulling out of a fight. Some people have a problem with just not pulling out. Mm-hmm. But other people have this problem of, and this is how I deal with serious things. Mm-hmm. I have to make little jokes, but we've been there, okay?
Right.
All honesty, we've been there, mm-hmm. and we almost lost everything.
Yes, and a lot of times when things like that are happening, if you really analyze it, if you really look at when it started, when you noticed things being different, or maybe when that health problem started, sometimes you can line that up with things that happened in your life, like you moved into a new house, or you started visiting a specific location or something. I mean, sometimes that lines up, and it's easy to tell that they coincide.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it doesn't mean you don't love each other. It's the opposite of that, because a bad haunting, I don't want to say the word, or something that's not nice, mm-hmm. they're going to prey on love. They're going to go after the thing you love the most. They're going to go after the thing that's going to hurt you the most. They love that agony. So that's why it's my number one. I wish it was a big funny haha number one. But you know what? I like to put some fun in what we're doing. I always have. If you're new to the Paranormal Sideshow, I always will. Mm-hmm. But I also like to give what I can on the teaching side of things, right? So 13 signs you may be haunted. That's it. And you know what this is a sign of? I think this is a sign of you're getting ready to get the biggest treat in the world. And my favorite part of the show is Stacey Edwards and Paranormal News.
All right, let's get to the news.
Let's.
So this first story is amazing. It's about
No, hold on a second. Before we get to this,
Okay.
I don't want to forget.
Okay.
So if you guys haven't, if you're new to the show, which many of you may be, I just want to say we do have our book available on Amazon.
We
You
do.
can go Till Death and Beyond. And it's John and Stacey Edwards. So just when you see John and Stacey Edwards as the authors, Till Death and Beyond, it won't be hard. It's Fat John, not me, John now. I mean, it just is. It's well, it was pretty damn heavy. I mean, a lot heavier than I am right now.
Well, anyway, you'll get to read about a lot of our signs that we're haunted. So
yeah, that's basically it. So just wanted to let you guys, in case you wanted to know more, that's the best way. The other ways are OnlyFans. And no, I'm just playing. We don't have that yet.
No, at least not one that shows our face.
So here's the news.
All right, so this first story is about the oldest drawing of a ghost that had been found in the British Museum. Love this story.
Oh, I love this guy too.
Yes.
You guys have had to see this guy. He's the best dude ever for the British Museum. Oh my God.
Yes, his name is Dr. Irving Finkel. He's amazing. They have videos on YouTube, and he just talks. I could just listen to him talk forever. He could just tell me stories.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's so cool. He really is cool.
So they are talking to him because he is a world authority on cuneiform, which is, a system of writing that they used in the Middle East.
I'm aware.
And what they found was an ancient Babylonian clay tablet that was created about 3,500 years ago. And it's part of an exorcist's guide to getting rid of unwanted ghosts by addressing the particular malaise that brought them back to the world of the living.
Yeah.
In other words, unfinished business.
Absolutely.
Yes, back that long ago. So
again, because if that just perked your ears up, how old is this?
it was created about 3,500 years ago. Yeah.
And we were dealing with ghosts 3,500 years ago to where they were creating things in their version of popular culture.
Right. They were making guides and, rituals. Now, it says in this article that the drawing had been missed before because it's really difficult to see. Like, you have to view it in a certain angle under the light, and then it sort of comes to life. And as they're talking to Dr. Finkel, he's talking about how it was misinterpreted because, they didn't see everything on the tablet. But
it was there for like a long time. And that was the whole thing. It was there for a long time, and they didn't realize this part of it.
right.
Finkel was pretty sure, and I apologize, Finkel was pretty sure because of him being an expert that this had been misrepresented, misidentified, because you never know people that in the past, that identified things, and I feel that way about my work. Like, I wonder if I did that right, or our episodes we had 13 years ago. Like, well, I'd like to go back and cover that again,
Well, he did say that the museum acquired it in the 19th century and that it had never been exhibited, and it had just basically been forgotten after it was misinterpreted. And what the picture is a lonely, bearded spirit being led into the afterlife and eternal bliss by a lover. And it's like a tall man, his hands are bound, he's being led away. And on the back of the tablet is some writing, and it's very explicit. Like, you can't miss what it's talking about. And he interpreted it and claims that It's instructions for a ritual that involves making figurines of a man and a woman, and you dress them up in certain specific clothing, you give them certain specific items, and then you point them towards the sun at sunrise. And there are special words. I mean, it details it all on the tablet. And supposedly this is going to help you get rid of this ghost that still has this unfinished business. And it says that the text on the tablet ends with a warning. It says, "Do not look behind you." I guess when you're doing the ritual. So, Dr.
That sounds
Finkel,
like a movie.
Yeah.
Like, coming this fall. Do not look behind you. I mean, does it not?
It does. It does. Dr. Finkel believes that the tablet was part of a library of magic in the house of an exorcist or maybe in a temple. So this is something that they were doing that long
That's
ago.
so cool, man.
I mean, that's amazing.
Can you imagine how hardcore it was back then? Like,
I can't imagine.
that they were, depending on what you believe in your belief system, they were still walking with us at the time. So
That's true.
that's some cool stuff.
And Dr. Finkel also talks about his upcoming book. He has a book coming out. We're going to have to get this. It comes out on November 11th, and it's going to have this discovery in there. He's going to talk about it.
Hell yeah.
The whole book is called The First Ghosts, Most Ancient of Legacies.
No, it's not.
Yes, and it's supposed to be published on November 11th. And they asked him if he had ever, being in the British Museum, if he'd ever seen a ghost there, because obviously the museum is riddled with ghosts. And he said that, he himself had never seen a ghost. He knows of people that have seen things like head and shoulders and things like that. So
I've seen interviews of people in the museum that have seen ghosts, that have talked about it. And there's a channel. The British Museum has one of the best YouTube presence out there, and you can sit and watch tons of lectures and interviews and things with them, different people from there.
One cool thing they said about this experience, he said that somebody had seen the head and shoulders, but that they were really low in the room. But he also mentioned that the original floor of the museum was much lower than the floor they have now.
Yeah.
So that's something that we talk about a lot.
That happens, yeah.
Yes. So
very cool story. I love that.
Wait to get that book.
I love that just because of figuring that out and how long ago we were still, struggling with the question of what comes next.
Right.
Life after death. Just awesome.
Yes. All right. So let's go on. Since we're talking about England, let's talk about how Cardiff is the most haunted place in Wales, according to a paranormal database.
You know why?
Why is that?
There's a rift that's underneath, right? And
I do believe so.
I mean, that's why they've got Torchwood there.
Thank goodness for Torchwood.
Yeah, Torchwood keeps us all safe.
Yeah.
I thought everybody knew about that.
There's a lot of aliens, too.
What about the Christmas invasion? You remember the aliens came, and if you don't watch Doctor Who,
then you won't know what we're talking about.
No, Doctor Who, like David Tennant, Doctor Who, actually, the 8th Doctor, the 9th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, 9, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11. Yeah, Eccleston, David Tennant, and Matt Smith.
Yeah.
That's the best era.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The very first of Peter Capaldi was okay, but it got really angry.
I maybe that's what it is.
Something
was not the same.
It's okay though, because Russell's coming back.
That's right.
Russell T Davies, baby, the showrunner from that time period, is coming back. So I wouldn't care if they had McKay Calkin as the Doctor, as long as he's the one running it.
All right. So according to the Paranormal Database, which is an ongoing project to document locations with folkloric, paranormal, and cryptozoological connections to the UK, Ireland, and the Channel Islands. It's somewhat specific.
I mean, it's like everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere on those islands.
Right.
Come on.
Another website called Paul Camper. It's like a camper van rental platform. I guess they were doing some sort of travel article. So they took information from the Paranormal Database and they plotted it to see where all the sighting, they went through all the data. And they figured out that Cardiff was the most haunted, had the most hauntings. Yeah. So it's the most activity that had been reported. And the single most haunted location in Wales, according to the database, was Cardiff Royal Infirmary. Sounds like it should be haunted.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. Over the years, there have been various accounts of like vanishing matrons, wounded soldiers, playful children that tap visitors when they're there.
Matrons.
I believe that The hauntings got so bad at one point that the pathology ward doctors and nurses decided to have an exorcism in the building because it was so bad. So you got to think of how old that place must be.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell. And the things that are not old are built on top of things that were old. I mean, that's the, that's been occupied for so long. And not by people that just eat berries,
Right.
So civilization. And when that happens, like Rome or anything else, it's so weird. You hear like Jerusalem, they're always doing a dig and they'll be like, oh, we found an amphitheater under the hospital ruins that was under the library. We think there's another layer under this, but it goes like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. It's just weird, isn't it?
Yeah, they just keep building on top of stuff. So very interesting. You can go to that website. If you live in any of those areas and you have something you want to report, I think there's a way that you can report it on the paranormal database.
Yeah, you go, oh my God, there's something right here. Usually works really well. Just roll the window
And then they
down.
just type it in there. Yeah, there you go.
They're like, oh, hey, not a very big place.
All right, so let's talk about some space.
Let's do it.
Outer space.
Outer space.
So this is a story about how astronomers are getting ready to probe Europa's hidden ocean for life. Do you think they're going to find it? They're going to find the hidden life.
Well, it's there.
The hidden life.
I mean, it's there. They've talked about it for too long. They've built it. They've done all the foreshadowing that any great author would do.
Right.
They know already. That's the whole thing about all these stories is, I don't know. They know already.
Well, this was
Oh,
more talking about it. It was the American Astronomical Society. It was a virtual conference that they had this year, and they
don't know already, but the guys in the robes and the they know.
right. Michael Bland and his colleague Catherine Elder, they were talking about the mission to Europa, the one coming up, the Clipper mission, and how they're going to use that mission to hopefully gather some samples of the plumes. Do you remember the plumes?
plumage.
Yes. Supposedly Europa shoots plumes of ocean water out into space, and they're going to try and gather some samples of that to send back and maybe discover whether there could be some life
Sounds like
in
an
it.
interesting fella.
Michael Bland.
Wouldn't you just love to be that dude's wife? It's just like, what's wrong, Betty? Nothing. It's fine. It's nothing. No, seriously, what is it, honey? What could possibly be wrong, Mrs. Bland? I'm fine. I'm totally fine. We're going out next weekend. He's just really busy with his work. Oh, the space plumage? That's cool.
Space plumage.
Mr. Bland.
They're hoping that during that particular mission, they can scout for a place on Europa where they can possibly put a lander that could,
Land?
Yeah, land, dig into the ocean and get better samples. Now, of course, Europa's ocean is buried under about 10 miles of ice, but they believe that there are magma vents down there that do the hydrothermic, warm areas. So like on Earth, and that's how
it's
you
gotta
get
be coming
the
from
plumes.
somewhere.
Right.
If there's
And
plumage coming.
They wholeheartedly believe that is an atmosphere where they can find what they consider life. We're not talking about, we're talking microbial life.
Oh, God.
But that's something. I mean,
Why is it always an
something.
amoeba?
that's all they want to find.
I'd
They
rather
don't want to
be-
find.
I'd rather at least have a space cockatoo or something. I mean, just something, just something interesting.
Right.
I mean, it'll be a big deal. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a big deal.
That'll be the end of they're going to find some kind of weird space creature and they're going to bring it back. It's going to be an amoeba. They're like, it's just an amoeba. It's fine.
Oh, wait. Where did it go? Nobody move. Oh, my God. Well, I'm sure it'll be. Yeah. Seal it off. Seal the camp. What? I mean, it's all a recipe for death.
Yeah.
Especially if you remember a couple years ago. Remember when they had to clean up NASA's vaults of this crap?
Oh, yeah. The clean room.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, that had all the fungus.
Yeah.
That was growing everywhere.
In the clean room.
In the clean room.
So, yeah, I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all. I don't trust you anyway, but I don't trust you with your amoebas from hell.
Well, while we're speaking of NASA, let's talk about their new DART mission that's going to launch next month. And this is the little test that they're going to do where they shoot something at an asteroid and try to deflect it off its path.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
That sounds smart.
This is the keep the asteroid from hitting Earth project.
They're calling it DART.
Yes, it's the... I don't know what it is.
Oh, you're looking for the acronym?
Yeah, it's an acronym. You know how they are.
It's a freaking dart. They're throwing a dart and hitting a target.
No, it's some kind of asteroid redirection something, you know, how they do with their acronyms. They love their acronyms. But it's managed by the Planetary Defense Coordination Office, and they're basically going to shoot... It's so funny. I'm so sorry. They're going to shoot a spacecraft at an asteroid. I believe they've pegged Didymus as the asteroid, and they're going to see if it will change the trajectory in a significant and predictable way enough. It's called the double asteroid redirection test. There you go. I got it for you. And they're hoping that by doing this, they'll have a few years to kind of watch where the asteroid goes and see if it changes speeds, to see if that is a possible way to keep Earth from hitting an asteroid, or for an asteroid hitting Earth.
Oh, my God.
They're going to knock it into the Earth's path.
Johnson!
You know how this is going to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. We've got something for you, son. You've done a lot of great work here at NASA.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to put you on the DART mission. Sir? That's right. Listen, we can't afford to have this one screw up. That bastard Tesla, his name's Elon Musk, sir. He's got Teslas, don't he? Yes, sir. That bastard Tesla, he's shooting one of his up again. And he's going to try to get there before us. Okay. His comes back. We need you to go up there and hit it and come back. Sir, want that? Johnson, this is your chance. For your family. Yes, sir. I can see it now. Poor Johnson is going to go up there. And so we're going to hit the damn asteroid. Mm-hmm. And hope that it sends it the right direction.
Right. Now, this is not an asteroid that's going to hit Earth.
That was going to hit
Yeah, it's not supposed to hit us. They just want to see what kind of effect they can have on it. My guess is they're going to miss completely with that suck. It's going to take us 2-3 months to get there. They just miss.
See, my whole thought's kind of like yours. I see some aliens like chilling, like the outpost aliens that just keep a soft eye on us.
Right.
Make sure nobody comes in and just, like giant space squids and just eats our planet. Mm-hmm. And I just see them sitting there in their Tommy Bahama shorts and their freaking, flower shirt and like sipping some freaking alien tea, and just be like, what the hell? And just, just have it go right by and hit a moon right beside them. I mean, that's
exactly
amazing stuff. We're so smart. It wasn't going to hit us, so we're just testing it out. Why not test it out on one that could hit us possibly, like in 2030? Mm-hmm.
No idea. Maybe they will once they do this one. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
I guess we're going to see how that goes. We're going to see how that goes.
Dartmouth.
All right. So let's talk about, Elvira.
Elvira.
Yes. It is
Elvira.
The anniversary of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Titty bop. Boom bop, boom bop, mow mow. 40 years, boom
40
bop,
years.
boom bop,
Not that
mow,
Elvira,
mow.
Mistress of the Dark Elvira.
Oh, I know, Cassandra
Yes.
Peterson.
And she's putting a book out to celebrate her 40th anniversary called The Haunting of Elvira.
She has a cool new video out too.
Life ghost stories.
Songs.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. To be her age.
Right.
She still gets around, and so do the boys.
Well, this particular article where she's talking about her memoirs that are coming out, she talks about her home, the Briarcliff Manor home in Hollywood Hills that she moved into, and talked about in the book, there's going to be a lot of stories about things that happened to her and her family in that house. And she says that, it began with hearing footsteps from the empty third floor.
Might be
footsteps.
haunted.
And she witnessed an apparition of a woman dressed in a 1930s style nurse's uniform. I guess apparition would be a good sign that you're haunted.
Absolutely haunted.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a dead ringer there for you.
That's on the call of the priest.
And another time she encountered the specter of a man in period clothing sitting by the fire. Doesn't specify which period. But
surprised he went in the shower.
She says that the house was the site of more than one suspicious
What
death.
period is period clothing?
I don't know. People say period clothing. I always just assume it means Victorian, but I don't actually know.
I mean, we always associate it with Victorian.
Yeah.
But so that's the
I
period.
don't know if that's the standard. That's just what I think. So I don't know. But there has been more than one suspicious death in the house. And she talked about having this dinner party. And Mark Hamill attended the dinner party. And he had mentioned that he had lived in that area in Briarcliff, not in Briarcliff, but in Hollywood Hills in that area. And when he pulled into the gates, he was like, this is the house that I lived in with my roommates when I was in college. And he's like, I moved out because one of my roommates killed himself in the house. Dropped that bomb right on her after she lived there. And she said, of course, it was in the master bedroom, in the closet, next to where I sleep.
Oh my God.
So, they had told Mark all about what had been going on. And he was like, yeah. And so he told them the whole story about what happened with his friend and why he left the house.
That's so cool.
And it was like he was invited to that party and didn't realize, I guess, that it was the same house until he drove into the gates.
How cool. I mean, about the story and, thinking about people you idolize having these same conversations. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, Mark Hamill, dude. If you didn't love him, you had to love him after he took care of Grogu.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's move on, talk about the Exorcist reboots.
Can we just go on? I mean...
They are rebooting the movie. They said that they would never remake it.
Yeah, they did. They said that specifically when they got the rights.
This is Blumhouse, and they are not remaking the exact movie. This is going to be an Exorcist trilogy, I believe is what they're planning.
Oh.
But it's not going to be Regan and her mom. In fact, I believe that in this movie, the parent figure speaks to Regan's mom about their experiences and asks for advice.
Okay, cool.
So it's an Exorcist movie, same premise, not a remake of what was already made. So I guess that's okay. I guess I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
We'll see.
So we'll see how that's going to...
Messing with my love.
...work out. It is not supposed to return until October 13th, 2023.
Well, that's good.
Yes. So, and they like I said, they are planning a trilogy. So hopefully,
it could be really good.
It could be.
We'll do what we always do, and we'll give it a shot. Hopefully, we can all go to the movies by then.
Yeah, hopefully. And speaking of The Exorcist, there's a story out there about a couple who unknowingly purchased the Exorcist house.
How do you unknowingly, in this day and time, purchase the Exorcist house?
So this is a couple who was looking for a home in Cottage City, Maryland. And they were having trouble finding a house. I mean, the housing market is exploding. It's hard to find homes.
It is.
And so it was recently purchased by...
You might wonder why that was easy to find.
Right. Danielle Witt and Ben Rocky Harris are the new...
So they gave their names?
Homeowners. They did. New homeowners of this home. And when they looked at the home, they liked it. It was in their budget. They thought they got a really good deal on it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they were like, they didn't know anything about the house, but they wanted to snatch it up. They made an offer because they were having such a hard time and it was such a good deal. Beware houses that are good deals. And after they found out a couple of days later that they did get the house, they accepted the offer, then she started doing some research into the neighborhood, and lo and behold, she found out that this is the house where in 1949 the 14-year-old boy was said to be possessed by a demon. The whole affair that the Exorcist novel and then movie was based on.
Mr. Blatty.
Now I find it kind of hard to believe that they looked at this house and it never came up even one time, the history of the house. I mean, that real estate agent was like, I got to unload this house.
Unless we were the neighbors and we'd be like, oh my God, okay. Don't say a word. But I should know.
No, wait till they move in.
Don't say a word.
Wait till they're in that mortgage.
It's like a game, It's like a drinking game.
Right,
Sit on the front pet,
You have the calendar on the wall, taking bets on when they're going to move out.
4 minutes. 5 minutes. Ah!
Oh, so they're...
it's just hard to believe.
I know. I find it hard to believe, too. But they're hopeful that, they're not going to have any troubles. And they even said they were going to go all out for Halloween this year,
Just think about
play
it.
up on it.
Why wouldn't you have already sold that to Ghost Adventures or something? I mean, you know what I mean?
No. Yeah, I don't know.
Just like, hey, wouldn't you like to come do this?
Say in the article if anybody's ever had any other experiences there besides, the obvious one in 1949.
It's the age of it. It's Maryland. It's
right.
the fact that I can't believe people haven't just unknowingly conjured something in there just because of what the place is and stupidity of people. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, hey, this is Richard X's house. Let's get this Ouija board. Yeah, hello, Richard X. Are you here? You know.
Oh, I know.
It's hello. My name is Captain Hattie.
All right, so I have one final story, and this is from New Zealand. And
I love you, New Zealand.
About the New Zealand Council has ended their contract with the Wizard after 2 decades of service. The official Wizard of New Zealand.
Like, you're kidding.
No, there's an official wizard. Well, there was an official Wizard of New Zealand.
No, that's not the part I'm worried about. They just up and canceled the contract with the Wizard? They
canceled the contract. So the Wizard's real name is Ian Brackenbury Chanel. He's 88 years old.
So his name's Ian.
Ian. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And he's been contracted to the Christchurch City Council for the past 2 decades to promote the city through, quote, acts of wizardry and other wizard-like services.
Jesus, that's so cool.
He made $16,000 a year.
God, if I could
doing
ever
that
have
job.
Anything, I just want to be the wizard for a town and just have them say
it's a great
wizardy thing.
It's a great story because he was born in England and he began performing acts of wizardry and entertainment in public spaces, kind of like an artsy kind of thing. And that was shortly after arriving in New Zealand
the moms.
in 1976. And when the council originally tried to stop him, the public protested. They didn't want them to stop him.
New Zealanders are cool.
In 1982, the New Zealand Art Gallery Directors Association said that he had become a living work of art. So then in 1990, the Prime Minister...
I'm doing my best.
The Prime Minister at the time, Mike Moore, asked that he consider becoming the Wizard of New Zealand.
Wow.
And he sent him a letter on his official letterhead.
Kind of hard to sing that.
That says
we'll do it.
That he's concerned.
To see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of New Zealand.
That's a little long. He said that he was concerned that his wizardry is not at the disposal of the entire nation, and that he suggests, therefore, that he should urgently consider his suggestion that you become the Wizard of New Zealand, Antarctica, and relevant offshore areas. So it was kind of cool. It was sort of a,
So they didn't have to have the talk. They didn't have to be like, Ian, nice of you to drop by. And listen, Ian, I don't know how to say this. Look, you've been a faithful wizard. You've been great for us. You helped us build around that one rock, and we were worried about, things happening. But Ian, sometimes a wizard's wand, it just isn't what it once was. And we need to make sure that our wands are all pointing up to the future. And we're gonna have to go with Marco. Marco studies Santeria. Oh. We just want to have a little spice.
They did not replace him with a new wizard. They just said that they're going a different direction with their tourism.
Mark my words.
So, I think that, he's still going to do his stuff that he does in public spaces. But honestly, he's 88. He hasn't really been around as much as he used to be a couple decades ago.
Careful, too.
But there you are. No more Wizard of New Zealand.
Well, Ian, we at the Paranormal Sideshow salute you.
Yes.
And to all of you out there, we salute you as well. We love all of you. Listen, you know how to get a hold of us. You know what to do. You can go on Facebook, join the new group. You can find it by Paranormal Sideshow on Facebook. You can go to paranormalsideshow.com and it'll have all our socials.
It will.
If you're watching, you can go look right here and you'll see quite a few socials, right?
Links in the description.
Absolutely. And remember, everything you do on Patreon, it helps us, and there's a lot of extra cool stuff that you get. So for my lovely wife, Stacey, my name is John. So long from the Paranormal Sideshow.
Good night.